As you prepare your breakfast, think of others. Do not forget to feed the pigeons. As you wage your wars, think of others. Do not forget those who fight for peace. As you pay your water bill, think of others, those who are nursed by clouds. As you return home to your home, think of others. Do not forget the people of the camps. As you sleep and count the stars, think of others, those who have nowhere to sleep. As you liberate yourself with metaphors, think of others, those who have lost their right to speak. As you think of others far away, think of yourself and say, if only I were a candle in the night.
This is for Palestine, of course, the capital, Jerusalem.
Okay, so today's episode is on the Israel-Palestine conflict. It's one thing that is very prominent in the news, all over timelines, whether that be Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Many discussions about whose side is people on, who's right, who's wrong, what's really going on. If you didn't notice, that rhymed. I'm proud of myself for that. Where do I start? I haven't got a fucking clue. And I think I just have to come out and be honest. I spent a lot of time throughout the last week trying to research it, trying to work out what was going on. Went all back to the Ottoman Empire, I think dissolvement or the fall of the Ottoman Empire during World War I, and the British had made a lot of alliances with Arab states, making Palestine, which was what it was originally called, a Muslim majority, an international state, promising them sovereignty, promising them certain things, but also there was European Jews who they promised the state to. When it fell, promising both sides, the British never came. I'm oversimplifying, forgive me, but the British never fulfilled the end of the bargain to the Palestinians. So the Arab majority, there was also Arab Christians, there was also Arab Jews, who they lived pretty harmoniously together. Again, it was the Ottoman Empire who, despite being a Muslim majority empire, was very secular in their ideas. Secular just basically meaning they didn't have any like religious leanings too much. They weren't like pro Sunni. They didn't kill Shias. They were just very like control and everyone work in order. Sorry, that little history lesson back. That's how far back I went. If you find that interesting, I hope you do. And I just landed on the fact that I don't know. And I feel there's so many people online talking about this issue, talking about sides, giving us the history, giving us the background like I just did. And they don't have an absolute Scooby. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's just be so honest to the issue. How many of us really understand the depths and the crux of this conflict? And that's not to minimize the death. It's actually to give the deaths, the tragedies, the loss, more magnitude, that we are speaking on things that we do not understand. People are talking about, this is a Zionist state. Yes, to a degree, because like I said earlier, Israel, the state of Israel didn't exist till 1948, once it had fell and the British had given deals to different people. We don't have a clue. We don't know what we're talking about. A lot of us who are online, whether it be other podcasters, other YouTubers, and I think we are I think Instagram, Twitter, the news outlets are trivializing it. I think they're trauma porn in it. I think some people online are using this as a way to promote their own platforms. You can even argue I'm doing that, but I'm just trying to be honest and say, like, despite the research I've done, I don't have a clue. I don't understand fully the extent of not the extent, but I understand where Hamas are coming from and they're the crux of their issue. I understand the concept of Zionism and Israel being viewed as a Zionist state because it didn't exist prior to 1948, before the European Jews came. But I have to be very honest that I'm for so many people to talk on this issue, I don't think it gives it the grace and the real magnitude that it deserves. I worry that we are trivializing it. Sometimes, yeah, I do worry about that we're in this kind of Oceania versus what I'm making a reference, guys, to Big Brother 1948, the book, George Orwell, and it was like Oceania versus the Pacific or Eurasia. It was Oceania versus Eurasia, and they were like in this constant state of war, and they would sometimes pretend they weren't in war, and then sometimes pretend they were in war, and no one quite knew the truth. No one quite knew where they stood, and I'm like, yo, it's the same here. We just know it's not what we see it to be. But I think sometimes a lot of these discussions online about the state of Israel, Palestine versus Israel, we are trivializing it. How many of us really understand it? And the reason I'm going on this semi-rant about it is because I want us to take more critical thought about this issue. And by critical thought, I just mean take a second, just take 1 second to like, take a step back. Think about what's going on. Why are we seeing this? What is really going on? I'm not saying people are not dying. I'm not saying what Hamas did was right. I'm not saying, you know, pro-Israel. I'm not saying any of that at all. I'm just saying let's just take 1 second and like try to come to some better understanding instead of having this outcry of, oh my God, free Palestine. There's nothing wrong with saying free Palestine, you know. But I'm just saying like we need to take moments and take step backs to really understand when we're given and bombarded with trauma porn, lies, biased opinions, biased narrators. We have to take a second to just take a step back before we react, because maybe the powers that be know that we're going to pick a side regardless, but they're happy that we're picking a side on an issue that invades from the slightly larger issue that might be at hand, not minimizing the deaths and the near genocide that is going on in the Gaza. I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to say like, yo, like how many of us, like people are wassing, people are talking about stuff and they don't understand at all. And we need to, as a public, take a moment to really take a step back before we react and analyze, discuss in private, not online. Hey, what am I doing? But before we really have a reaction to something, before you react, think. I think we are reacting very emotionally, and it's very natural. There's images on Twitter and Instagram, well, it's mostly Twitter, that of burnt children from Palestine. We know that Palestine have been very oppressed. It's been called an apartheid. And I'm not trying to minimize that one tiny bit. I just want to kind of give it more respect than just reacting. Or what I typically do is do a lot of research on something and then speak on and give my analysis on it. And I felt like when I was doing that, I was like, you ain't got a fucking Scooby, even though you've read stuff, watched stuff on it. You're just regurgitating what you've read, bro. You don't fully understand the pain and the hurt of it. So how dare me and some of these other people online regurgitate information that they know? Yeah, you might understand that this started in the Ottoman Empire and false promises, and Israel didn't exist till 1948. Does that make it a Zionist state because it was Zionists that wanted to make it a Jewish state? But do you understand that? Do you really understand the pain of these people? Do you understand how they potentially are being exploited by the military-industrial complex of America for profiteering? The reason I say that, I'm not just saying that to trivialize it, is that there are, arms dealers, weapons manufacturers, sorry. So there's arms dealers and weapon manufacturers who have lobbied to give more resources and weaponry to Israel to support them against the terrorists. I'm just saying that because I don't fully know. But the terrorists of Hamas, so they're giving them weapons in Israel to support them fighting against terror. And those people that are lobbying and are pushing the bill through, those ministers and senators, they are also buying shares into those weapons manufacturers and arms dealers companies, so that essentially they are either directly or indirectly profiting from this war. They're pushing the bill to go forward, and as they push the bill forward and the bill gets forward, they're giving the defense contracts to these people, to these arms dealers that they have ties with, and the lobbyists are lobbying for, and then buying shares in it. That's war profiteering. You should not be allowed to do that. But me saying that to you and providing you with that information, as great as it fucking is, doesn't even do it its true justice. It doesn't do it its true justice, me just talking about it, because whether it's 1 million people that watch this or 10 people that watch this, it's like me talking about it online, that might still be distracting from the actual issue. Maybe I am doing something good by doing this. I'm not denying that, but I'm just saying, like, we should take a lot more critical thought before we react. Too many people are online talking about this like they're experts. Bro, last week before, some of these men were talking about should you only be dating if you have the intent to marry. There's no problem with that. I think that's an interesting question. Should you only date if you have the intent to marry, or does that put you in a state of, like, what did he use? He used the term of, like, limbo and a constant, like, you're in this constant friends with benefits situation. I find that interesting, but bro can't tell me that the pseudo expert on dating is now an expert in Middle Eastern geopolitics and the web connections between Israel and Palestine and the military industrial complex and Russia and all these different interests. Bro, you can't tell me that. You can't tell me that, and you now talking about it is trivializing that. Bro, I talk about my feelings on here. The fuck do I know about Israel and Palestine? I might have read about it and I might have a compassionate eye towards it, and I might notice there's some patterns and some trends, but we should be more careful on how we disseminate this information out there, because we become a part of the propaganda piece. We become a part of the propaganda piece about these conflicts when we talk about it and pick sides. It's nothing. I am not at all, listen to me, I am not at all saying supporting Palestine is a problem. Not at all. Support who you believe is right. I'm saying don't be so quick to react. I'm saying take a moment to pause. I'm saying when you discover a piece of information, further understand that information before disseminating it out to the public. That's all man's saying. That's all man's saying. I'm sorry about the noise in the background. Every day we work on making this a better show. The more you share and like and subscribe, the better this becomes and the quality becomes. By the way, guys, sorry, little side note. If there's any audio, visual issues, please let me know so I can improve it for the next time. Back to the show. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel. I feel too many people online are talking on shit they don't understand. They're just talking heads, bruv. You're just chatting, bruv. You don't understand. Do you, more than you don't understand, do you fucking care? Do you actually care? Or is this another talking point for you to promote yourself, your platform, or whatever? Do you get what I'm coming from? For some people, I understand the Palestine issue is very close to their heart. For some people, it has religious ties to it. For some people, it has deep. Some people call it the coming of the rapture. Some people call it World War III. We live in this state of angst, but the way to get out of these states of angst when they're bombarding you with, whether that's COVID, whether that's a jab, whether that's Ukraine, whether that's Palestine, whatever they're bombarding us with, whether it's an alien that turned out to be a cake, is to take a moment and pause. Don't react straight away. Understand what's going around. You may even see behind. This need for content that we have in this industry of ours forces us to, like, overreact.
So hold on. You goddamn morons, okay? So not only is that terribly inhumane, like, how does that help you, the Palestinian cause? You see how evil we can be? That's your tagline? You fools, you barbaric idiots. So what did you do that for? What did you do that for? So that all Palestinians can be smeared for the rest of the time? So that all Muslims can be smeared for the rest of the time, thanks to your stupid ass, thanks to your barbaric acts? God damn you, Hamas. God damn you. You're so stupid. Now, what's gonna happen to the Palestinians? They're gonna get slaughtered. That's happening right now.
And I just think to myself sometimes when people are reacting to this shit, like, Not even do you care. Not even do you know. Are you also a part of the problem? Are we just talking heads for the government and we may get a little change from it, maybe some people a lot of change, but are we all contributing to the distraction of what we really should be doing? I, by no means, I'm saying don't support those people in the Gaza that are going through what is genocide. I'm saying be more careful in what you say, how you react, and how you talk about these issues. And by support, what is your support? Is it just a repost? Because, bro, let me tell you this now, yeah? You see a repost online ain't saving no one. If babies and children are dying out in the Gaza, in Israel, in Palestine, you reposting something and putting a little angry comment on Twitter or Instagram, bro, you're a clown to me, bro. You're a clown. I keep it all the way, bro. You're a clown to me. But if you're actually trying to make a change, make a passionate change, okay, that's more interesting. If you're researching it to try and understand, to see how you can contribute to help people from Palestine, okay. I'm just saying put more care into it. Don't do something that is like, what's the word? I want to say like virtue signaling. Ain't no time for that. Ain't no time for no virtue signaling. Ain't no time for puff pieces. Oh, my heart's so torn. Bro, if it's really torn, like, go do something about it, bro. Like, I want to see action. I want to see action. I want to see something really done. Oh, shut up. Shut the fuck up. This is like I said earlier about what happened with the Ottoman Empire. This is an issue that goes back generations. Like generations from the First World War. How many people know the Prime Minister from the First World War? Like, this is something way beyond your time. I do, because I researched it. But I'll put it down here because I might say it wrong. The most important thing is, when you were talking about these issues, who profits from it? Who gains from it? Because we live in a capitalist society where everything is for profit and for gain, typically. When you are discussing it, when you are looking at it, look at it with a compassionate eye from both sides. Because I'm sure those some of these pro-Israeli state people have some sort of emotional reasons why they support the Israeli state. Because they ourselves and all human beings are very emotional people. Pro-Palestinians, I think it's very easy for us to understand who and why they support them. It's very easy to support the oppressed. Those people who are pro-Hamas, before you judge them and say we don't support any terrorists, you have to understand some people's terrorist is a freedom fighter. Nelson Mandela was considered a terrorist, and I think as a black man, and for those black people that support me and watch me, it's very easy to understand people who react violently. I'm not supporting killing of innocent people, not at all, ever. I just want us to have a more compassionate eye, look bigger picture on the profiteers, and on top of that, a more honest approach, a more genuine approach, which actually is trying to solve the issue other than look like you're saying the right thing or reacting angry to something because you don't have to express your emotion. Again, like I said, I'll use the analogy about the comment. Ain't no one care if you put a fucking angry comment on Instagram, on an Instagram post, or you tweet Keir Starmer or Joe Biden or Rishi Sunak something angry. And them motherfuckers do they even look at their Twitter? Do they? So, yeah, ain't no one got time for that. But honest, genuine, compassionate approaches, support, research, and looking big picture on who is genuinely profiting from this is slightly more interesting to me, and I think helps the issue more. The rest of it, we may be as much of the problem as we claim the others to be as well. Guys, thank you so much. I tried my best. I researched it. I wanted to do a breakdown on the Israel and Palestine conflict, but I didn't because it didn't feel genuine. It felt like I was trying to talk on the issue and sound like I'm on the right side of history and not telling my truth and what I genuinely believe about this situation. On that bombshell, I shall leave you. Like, share, and subscribe. I always go on for a long time. I love talking to you guys. I'm sorry for the shouting. I have to enunciate because of my camera. But we move. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next episode.
There once was a land called Palestine where Christians, Muslims and Jews lived fine. In the 1800s it was ruled by the Ottoman Empire. Meanwhile a bearded guy founded Zionists for Jews to aspire, a land that becomes their home and safe only for their kind. Then there was World War I that ended when the Allies won, and England was like, hey, this beautiful land is totally mine. Till the name was Palestine, even though it was colonized, and a promise for a Zionist state was made by a man that had no right. Then more and more Jews arrived seeking refuge, and that's alright until their plan to steal the land was no longer to hide. The year was 1948 when Israel bullied its way into a state. Thousands of Palestinians fled their homes to survive. No right for return, no right for a home, no right to fight for the land that they owned. Israel expanded more and more into an apartheid. Where is your humanity? Where is your respect for dignity? Call it conflict, that's insanity. It's time to change your mind. One day Palestine will be free, so be on the right side of history. You're not anti-Semitic if you stand against war crimes. Don't be brainwashed by the news. Now you can see for yourself the truth. Learn about the story of Palestine.